So it's time to improve the results that come out of here. Remember, we're just passing the actual lines of a bunch of files. We don't really even know which ones those are. We just started with a folder that have some kind of match. So we want to bundle some information together about these matches. Now we could use classes, and those are very powerful, but really we just need things like what's the line number, what's the text, what's the file name, and so on. So it turns out named tuples are perfect. So again, we'll just use our collections of a search result equals, I'm going to use our collections.named tuples, and then the first thing is the type name. The second argument are basically the fields. So it'll be file, line, and text. Let's say those are the three things that we're going to return there. Now let's change this to not just append the line, but let's actually make a result. So we'll say M for match is going to be a search result. And in here, what are we going to add? Let's say line equals line, I think I called it. And file equals file name. And the text equals, actually text equals line, right? That's the line of text. And I need the line number here. So we have to compute this ourselves the way we're doing it, but that's okay. Okay, so now we're going to append that. And let's just run it again. Remember, these named tuples have decent output. Okay, we're going to search our books again. And we're going to search for the word friends. And here are a bunch of matches that have way more information. So you can see we have the file is the Ulysses book, and these are the lines. And we also have Tales of Two Cities and the Dollhouse. They all talk about friends. Okay, that works, but let's do a little bit nicer output so we can read it here. Let's go to the top where we're doing this print. And for a little bit, let's go, okay, stop this. What we're going to do is we're going to say print, and we'll do something like this. There's a match. Okay, so we'll say match, and then we'll print out the file, the line, and the actual match text. Let's run it again. Same folder. This time, let's search for happiness. All right, so we have some matches. It turns out in Ulysses, on line 20,899, rule of happiness of the better land. Yes, this is a much nicer output. Now, something's funny, like, look, there's two lines here, and yet we're only doing like one print on this, which is kind of unusual. What's going on? Remember, when we read an individual line from the files, they actually have the new line on there. So that new line is appearing here. And I'd rather take more control over the text rather than assume that that's always going to be there. So let's just say strip. Now I could do an R strip just to get the stuff off the end, or maybe if there's white space, I want to pull it to the front anyway. So let's do it this way. Great. Looks like our searching is working perfectly. Now remember, we're giving it this folder, and it turns out we're searching these files, but we're not searching Dracula or Adventure of Sherlock Holmes or anything like that. Let's just prove that. We can go here and say, I want to search for Holmes. Well, Ulysses apparently has something that talks about Sherlock Holmes, but we're not getting into that subdirectory. And that's to be expected because we said if it's a directory, ignore it. There's a variety of ways in which we could solve this problem, but it turns out the most natural way to solve these hierarchical problems are to use something called recursion. So let's take a moment and go look at this concept, and then we'll come back and apply it to our application.